Welcome back to Founders in the Field, the show where we go behind the scenes with agency leaders, consultants, and creative founders to show you how they're building, scaling, and staying sane in the trenches. I'm your host, Stefan Bradley, and today's guest is Santiago Cordoba, owner and CRO of Adsmood. How are you doing, Santiago?
All good here. How are you, Stefan? Thanks for inviting me.
I'm very well, and thank you for jumping on. Let's dive straight in. For people who don't know your story, take us right back to the start of your journey and what made you start your own business.
Definitely. Well, I usually give long answers, so I'll try to make it short. Since I started working in digital marketing 15 years ago, I had this feeling of wanting to have my own thing. The path was tough. It hasn't been easy. But I think that at the end of the day, the reason why I decided to have my own thing had to do with I've been in many companies. You can check it out in my LinkedIn. And for some reason, I was never fulfilled by the culture or the goals or the communication or you name it, right? So it was like let's try my own thing, right? And of course, being involved into digital marketing and having the fortune to work in the gaming industry has been amazing. I fell in love with it. So I guess those are the two main reasons: being in the industry that I am and trying to build my own thing. Uh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I hear that from so many founders where you don't fit into that box of when you're working for people, and it's just like you need to express yourselves more. I would say.
Yes, definitely. I think that I got fed up with complaining about bosses or culture or salaries or those type of things, and then I realized that it was my bad because now what I also realize is that I'm my own company. I do understand a lot of things that other companies or my past companies were doing even with myself. And it has a tremendous value. And I feel like a better professional now that I have my own company than I'd say 15, 18 months ago where this amazing journey started. So yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like once you go off onto your own, it opens your eyes up to a lot more the good and the slightly more challenging also.
definitely. The times being more efficient. What does it mean to be seated in a chair for 8, 9 hours, and then you realize that it wasn't needed? And even nowadays, it happens to me that I feel some sort of guilt when I'm not those 8, 9, 10 hours a day in the computer, and then you realize that maybe you are replying an email 11 p.m. at night because it was needed to, and then you also realize that we cannot be on the daily operation. We need people to do that so we can scale. So the owners and the founders can do the strategy, and that's what it's needed from us. And from us, it's also needed to be on a state of mind of calm, of tranquility, of reading, of being constantly educated, and to talk to people, right? So I'm not gonna lie. Probably the days that we do more operational work it feels better, but it's not what we are supposed to do. It's not what we're supposed to do. We have that very clear. Of course, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and we don't complain about it. But we have a very clear strategy and view that what our company needs from us is strategy, is vision, is team building, is those kind of things.
It springs to mind that saying when it says you can work in your business or work on your business, and sometimes working in your
Well,
business feels like you're doing what you should be doing, and you're getting the output, but realistically, sometimes it's taking a step back and actually looking at the bigger picture.
couldn't agree more. Definitely.
So, Santiago, what does your role look like today inside the company?
Well, so I think that one thing that we've done correctly since day one is we are three partners, right? And we have divided our task very clearly, even though a lot of times we are crossed, and that's fine, but we have a clear scope on what each one of us has to do, right? So basically, I'm in charge of the revenue of the company, right? The ways to create more sales, how to bring more money to the company, forecasting, P&L, contacts, lead generation, doing marketing for our marketing agency, which is hasn't been great to be honest. Um, so that's my main goal. Yeah, yeah.
Big important jobs driving revenue and looking after the marketing part of it. Definitely big needle movers, as I would say.
Definitely. I've learned so much. Actually learned the 101 in terms of reason why marketing exists. And it has to do to position yourself in the market. It has to do with getting people to know you, it has to do the way that you communicate. It has been amazing. I've learned so much. Yeah, I think that the biggest challenge that I have is how can I automate or have a system of sales that doesn't depend on myself, on my connections, um, on my I would say skills to get to know new people. Because being in Argentina and not being able to get to go to many conferences in tier one countries in the US, in Europe, or even in Asia, because we are very far away from those countries because it's very expensive for us right now. It's not that easy, right? So the way that I have to meet people is through this computer, through Slack communities, through LinkedIn, and all that. Like it has been very, very complicated to replace myself and to create a system that could back me up and do that on an automated way, I would say.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like it would be quite draining, obviously, on you having to do all of this outreach to build up relationships through through your computer, through like channels like you said, LinkedIn, Slack, and things like that. And it's hard to replace you or someone in your shoes to actually do that because they're wanting to speak to you in these channels, type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also hard to keep track of those conversations. Where do I have it? How do I meet this person? When should I contact that person again? What was the main reason why I contacted him or her first? So all those type of things, then you maybe there was one time that I was updating a spreadsheet that I have because I didn't have the time to actually to hire a new CRM or to learn how to deal with it. And I was like, yeah, I'm a data entry guy. Like I was writing things down 3 4 hours a day, and I was like, I'm not keeping track anymore. And then I lost a lot of contacts, and then I realized hey, I need a system. Like because if not, I'm not going anywhere. Like one of the main problems that we have right now is that we're feeling that we cover the ceiling of the business right here, and we are constantly hitting our heads on the ceiling. And it's like, hey, how can we grow? System. That's what we need. But then, in order to move forward with that, you need to invest some money. Are you not completely sure if the money is going to keep coming in? And what about the operation, the processes? It all seems very obvious, but making the decisions is not that easy. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting to actually be hearing myself talking out loud about these things. It's super interesting.
no, definitely, and I feel like you took the word out of my mouth when you were speaking. Then is system. It's having a repeatable system that can help you there. Do you know what I mean? As in something that can sort of be in the background and keep track of all this type of thing. Because as humans, we're not meant for that type of data.
Oh, I'm sorry, I lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, because I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you now. I'm sorry. I lost you for a minute. I'm sorry about that.
No, no problem. I was just saying, you need the word that you took out of my mouth. Then is a system, a repeatable system that can keep track of all these things, because the human brain, we're not actually meant to be taking in all this data all the time to try and remember this. That's not where we excel, I wouldn't say. So
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
definitely, getting a repeatable system in place there is the right way to go about it. It's all about designing that system that's gonna benefit you and aid you and optimize your
Of course. And when I learned about that, specifically about uh, that the human brain is not designed for memory, but for creativity, it had a huge impact for me. And I still struggle every day on the fight in the fight between creative and repetition or automatic tasks that it's like, hey, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, I shouldn't be doing this. I should have my mind clear to work on what I'm supposed to. But I do feel that having the struggle and having the state of mind that I'm given the fight, it's a win already because it feels like I'm going into the right direction.
But like you said then, the brain works so much better when it's just focused on creativity. It's having that trust also. It's also having that trust that everything else is being taken care of. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to being like, is that there? Is that there? But once it's proven, and then you can actually really let go of all that data, the mundane things, that actually makes us feel like we're more productive when we're doing these things because we're like, oh, we're getting a lot done. But in hindsight, realistically, if it's actually all getting taken done, it frees up so much more of your mind, like you said, a clear mind for the creative.
And actually, when the question that you asked me at the beginning of the call, it was, why do you do what you do, right? Or why do you have your own company? And I've always believed that personal and professional are crossed. And of course, if you are in a bad mood because you had a fight with your dad or with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend or with your friend or whoever it is, right? And you have troubles in your personal life, it doesn't mean that you have to carry those problems and to deal with it in the work environment. But it's impossible to severance, right? Those two worlds. And I believe a lot in therapy, right? And we talk a lot about anxiety. And when you think about it, when you have this state of mind of delusion of having control all over your company, your product, your sales, the people, it's fake. It's an illusion, right? So when you also think about that, it's like most of the times, at least it happens to me, that I cannot focus on something because of being anxious, because I think that I have to have control of all other tasks and I kind of only focus on one thing. And that's why many times it happens to me that I got like freeze. I got frozen, like it's like I don't want to focus on something because maybe something else is happening and I go out there and check it out and I don't focus on that because something else is happening. So no, being focused means that, and also means fighting against anxiety, at least the way that I see it.
Yeah, and like you said, then it's two different worlds, but there's only one brain. You only have one brain.
Of course, of course,
You
of
know, and
course.
you're so right. It's hard to. We can say yeah, we'll put that back and compartmentalize it, but only certain people are actually really good at that. I'm not very good at that. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Do you know what I mean? I can't. Do you know, if I'm unhappy in one part of my life, I'm more than likely going to drag that over a little bit into my other part of my life. Even if I'm not actively talking about it, it's having a subconscious effect on me. Do you know what I mean? Like that
Ex-
type of.
exactly, and paying attention to the body and how the body feels. And when you think about it, it's very funny to talk about body because we work virtually, right? We give services all around the globe with a computer in my own house with my partners that live like 10 kilometers away from my house. And the body still feels. And when you get to know someone, it vibrates. And I think that you have to also pay attention to those things, mainly when it comes to focus. Like one of my biggest challenge nowadays has to be have been being focused. And it's not that easy. It's not that easy. And all this information and theory that we have, uh, sometimes we are so, I don't know how to say this word, like blasting form. Like there's too many information and too many theory. And all of a sudden you are feeding your brain with information all the time. And it's like, what I'm doing, the brain is start confusing because the recommendation that you are going to check out there about productivity, about focusing, about anything, it's also contradictory. Like one person is going to say A, another one is going to see theta, and in the middle there are a lot of grays. So I think that we need to put our bodies into what we're doing and focus 100% in what we're doing.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like you said, then I don't think there's ever been a time in history where we've been able to have so much information at one time. Like you turn the news on, and you're not a human brain is not meant to intake this stuff every single day, and it's the same with the workplace. So I feel like there's a massive there's a massive play and a massive thing to be said about being able to focus on the one thing that's going to move the needle or one thing that's going to give the biggest impact in your business.
Of course, and it's insane. And for example, when you think about AI, right? So me being in charge of sales means taking a look at the market. Let's put it that way, right? So what's happening out there that we have to see, we have to hear, we have to listen, and then we have to produce internally. And you're scrolling LinkedIn and you see these amazing companies creating amazing stuff related with AI. But then all of a sudden, if you scratch them a little bit, it's like, I'm not talking about whether they are true or whether they are lies, but it's like, what is the context? For instance, we create video ads, right? And there are a lot of people saying, hey, you can create 50 video ads for $7 an ad in less than 24 hours. And it's like, yeah, that's true. I can also do that. But what is the goal behind that? Do the ads then work okay or not? Why do you need to create 50 ads in less than 24 hours? It's like all this amazing technology that everyone is building out there. Is it necessary? Or maybe it's not that necessary and we need more strategy in the backwards, right? Like in background. Um, so yes, I deal a lot with that, and I have two amazing partners that every time that I knock the door and I say like, "Hey, we're falling behind. We are not creating amazing AI stuff as everyone is doing." They are like, "Santi, calm down. Like that's an example out there. It's not the full truth." And yeah, it's very very funny. But you have to also be very smart to keep the line in what you feel and what you think is right.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like that's the next thing that's going to be like catching soon with the video AI ads. It's not there yet, like, but you know when they talk about the copy of the ad and things like that, and the AI agents now that can run the ads, and turn off underperforming ones and scale up performing ones and things like that. I feel like that's the next sort of stage of AI that we're just in. But the video side of it is still not quite there. As you just said, then why would you need 50 ads? Well, the reason they need 50 ads is because they need to test all these, because a lot of them are not going to be up to scratch, like you said. Do you know what I mean? So it's whether you want quality or quantity. It does go
Exactly.
back to that type of thing. And obviously, if you're specialised in ads, I do think you know, I mean, as ads companies though, you're going to be able to utilise AI. You know, when video ads come about, everyone's like, okay, you don't need this anymore, but it's never going to be like that. It's like when they said, oh, AI is here now, you don't need copywriters. Copywriters are going to be using AI to make better copy. It's not going to be Joe Blogs, who runs his company, is going to be like, I don't need a copywriter anymore. I can just do this and check. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be, experts using the AI to elevate up and up and up.
Of course. The other day, I had a friend who is a CMO in a company, in a gaming company, and he told me that he had this discussion with the CEO, right? The CEO comes one day and he said, like, hey, let's use everything for our marketing efforts with AI. So we don't need these, let's say, 6, 7 people that they have for marketing, right? So the CMO was like, okay, w- when I fire these people, or if I fire these people, who's going to be prompting the AI? Who is going to be giving us the results? Who is going to create the deck for reporting? Who is going to be behind the operation? I think that as everyone is saying, and I do agree with this vision, is that of course AI helps, but people have to learn how to use it because it's here and it's not going anywhere. And it's getting better and better and better and better, and you have to adapt to that. And it's fine because it has happened before. So don't be frightened, don't be scared. Just adapt to what we have nowadays, and that's it.
With my company, AI Arsenal, I wouldn't feel so comfortable to be just hand over it to build out the system and give them over to them and be like, it's all yours now, you run it. Because it is a lot dependent on the person running it, checking it, making sure that it is running. Even autonomous AI, even though yes it is sort of like set and leave it, but you're still going to want somebody who knows that system inside out. If anything was to happen or any minor tweaks that you need, you don't want the client to be running it, because
Of
then
course.
Do you know what I mean? So you're still going to need some level of, an expert, I would say, to come in and actually oversee it, make sure that all the whistles and bells are being rung and blown. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually performing to the highest standard. And you're always going to want to improve it. It's never going to be like, because anything that you set out and you be like, okay, it's done. In a couple of months, this could be, you're going to need it to
Yeah.
elevate and elevate and elevate. So you're always going to want to, try and bring that up.
Yeah. So talking about anxiety, AI and all these amazing tools that come out on a weekly basis. It's like, hey, I've learned how to use BO2 and then BO3 comes out and it's 100x powerful compared more powerful than last week or last 2 weeks other products, and it's like it never ends. So it's very complicated. At the same time, it's wonderful. It's super powerful. But I do agree with who is using the technology behind. So let's say that we have Sergio, who is my partner, who is an amazing video animator. He's great. He's super creative. He's using the same tool that I use to create the same video with the same brief, with the same script, with the same assets. Which video is going to be better, him or mine? And probably his. Of course, his. Like he uses the technology better. He knows about video. He knows about design. He knows about coloring, about effects, about stuff that I just know in the theory, but I haven't practiced myself with those type of things. So still, you need someone behind that technology.
Yeah, no, definitely. That leads me on to my next question, which is kind of what we're already speaking about, which is what are the biggest trends that you're seeing in the market? So I'm going to guess we're going to carry on the AI conversation.
Well, kind of, because interestingly, being in the gaming company, in the gaming industry, I'm sorry, mobile gaming, where it's the hottest thing nowadays has to do with player lots. If you don't know what that is, it's like mini demos of the games, right? That you are promoting, and it gives a taste to the potential users of what the game is going to be. Of course, then you can create like fake gameplays to test some sort of theory out. But I think that it's not a problem, but AI hasn't been able to solve playable ad uh, building so far. But at least when it comes to ads in mobile gaming, playable ads is like the most powerful thing. And apart from that, of course, AI in video production is like the number one uh, topic of discussion nowadays between marketers and between also um, gaming entrepreneurs, definitely.
What was that? Did you say playable ad? So it's like a game inside the ad.
Exactly. So let's say that you are maybe scrolling in Instagram or you are playing another game, right? And you're playing it, and all of a sudden you lost, and an ad comes out, and you are seeing it, but you can also interact with the ad, meaning that you can also like it's like a mini demo of
Right.
another game which is being
Right.
promoted into that application. You can play a little bit, and it's like, hey, this game is amazing. You just want to download it right now, right? And we also create those type of ads, and we've become very good at it. Fortunately, we have a good team, and we are seeing like if you see the revenue in August, September of last year, it was 80% video ads, 20% player ads, and nowadays like 60% player ads, 40% video ads. So the shift has been huge. But what we talked before is that we have to adapt all the time. And now it's play ads, but maybe in 2 years' time is something else. So we have to be re-educating ourselves constantly to see what's being created out there.
Things come full circle in trends and waves, not so much trends, but like waves of things. And like this becomes popular for a little while. It comes even with like content when I do some content and things like that. Some people, it'll go for a little trend or a little stage of being like, I just want to look at 30-second and quick ads, 20-second not ads, sorry, content. And then actually when someone's looked at that for so long, they're like, I want some substance, give me a couple of minutes of so I want some context in what's going on. So things change and they come back around and that type of thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, and I feel like we'll see the same with that. Do you know what I mean? It'll go, pendulum will swing this way and then eventually it might swing that way, and it's all about being flexible, isn't it?
Definitely couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Yeah, wise words.
So Santiago, what is working well at Adsmood, and where do you still feel a slight friction? Maybe one thing that's working well, and one thing that you feel a slight friction still.
I think that one thing that is working well has to do with our ops team, which at the beginning of the company was our biggest weakness by far. Like we weren't giving like good service. We were expecting our clients to tell us what to do, and it was the other way around. So we had to create our operational team. We have a couple of very talented people that do the bridge between what the client needs and our development animation team. That has been working very, very good for the last 6 months. And what is causing friction, it has to do with, I would say, forecasting slash planification. So basically, in the gaming industry is very irregular in the sense that because of how the companies test their ads and their games, they may require a batch of 10 videos, let's say in November, and then they will disappear for 5 months, and then they will request again maybe March, in April, in May. So in those months, it's like, have I done my work correctly? Have the videos perform okay? Is the price good or not? So you will run to ask for more feedback, well, to know if it is something on their end or if it's something that we can improve. In spite of that, of constantly asking for feedback to our clients, it has been hard, and it's still hard to forecast because we are not selling right now. We've changed a lot, but we're still in the middle of trying to get clients on a subscription model so we can build more teams and grow as a company. Uh, in spite of that, I didn't want to talk about the same thing as before, but number one thing that is causing friction has to do with sales, and have a system that do what I'm doing nowadays as a solo, guy out there. So those two things are the main, I would say, pain points of our company.
These things, forecasting to be able to get reoccurring revenue every single month makes it so much easier when you want to forecast because you can see where you're going to be, type of thing. And also
Exactly.
the repeatable sales system. It's if you're trying to do that all manually, it's very, very draining. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very not just physically but like mentally also. Do you know what I mean? And like what we were speaking earlier, trying to conversation about these type of things. So I feel like having a system in place that can automate some of this, do you know what I mean, would be using your personal touch. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's a fine
Yeah.
line. Don't get me wrong; it is definitely a fine line.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we have to work harder on that. I think that it also demands a lot of energy and cognitive intuition when it comes to talking to people and getting to know more people. And you don't always have that energy, to be honest. Like in my case, I can tell you, like Monday and Tuesday, I was drained out. Like I couldn't do anything. Like if it would have been like, some operational work, like uploading a campaign, checking KPIs, being in the middle of an operational somehow work, I would have done it because that's easy in the sense that those tasks don't need full concentration, full cognitive, 100% cognitive, focus. Um, Talking to people, meeting new people, keeping conversation from the past, following up. It's not like just sending an email like, "Have you seen my proposal? What do you think about my portfolio?" It's not that. It has to be like, from my point of view, you have to be creative in follow it up. You have to talk maybe about something else. Maybe you have to find an excuse to reach out to that person, and that needs creativity. And you are not always 100% on your capacity, and that's why we still need a system, someone to 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 cover the basics.
Because you're in South America, I find it when I'm over here because the time differences when I'm speaking to people from like America and things like that, they might message me and it might be like 2 o'clock in the morning where I am. You know what I mean? It might be like 5 o'clock where they are, and I feel like sometimes when we miss them messages and then we pick them up on our morning, it can have a disconnect. You know, so I feel like having something that can actually reply within a couple of minutes, even, and then you wake up and then you just have to check it and it's like, oh, I've replied. It's okay. It's cool. Like the conversation is flowing now. Do you know what I mean?
I know, and sometimes you need to respond instantly, as you said, because it's something that it's complicated. It's complicated, but at the same time, it's challenging. I think that there are ways to figure out. I also think that you don't solve it once for all. You have to constantly be same. Is the same example and the same thing that you were talking about creatives when you were talking about creatives, like elevating all the time, right? The process. And this is the same. I mean, you figure out a way to create an AI agent that answers for you like the basic conversations or create proposals when you're sleeping, but it covers you 60, 70, 80% of your efforts, but then you have to be up there. And once you solve that, there's going to be something else that you have to solve. And it never ends. And that's also the what I feel having a company has changed in my mindset very, very much. Like when I was an employee, it was like, hey, give me a list of tasks to do. Once I solve this, I'm free. Like a reward system, having my own company is like I have to create my own task, and it doesn't really feel like, this is what I'm supposed to do, or can I could be doing anything I want. Um, so that's why I feel that having my own company has made me grow professionally a lot, a lot.
As business owners, I feel like once you remove one bottleneck, don't worry because there'll be another one coming up soon. You know what I
It's
mean?
and when you are calm and nothing seems to be happening, maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, and all of a sudden the storm comes in again, and it's like you have like this kind of toxic relationship where you miss it, but when you are in it, you want the storm to be away, and when the storm is away, it's like, hey, what's happening? Nothing's happening in my business. And when you learn about that, you enjoy those 1 maybe 2 days where you maybe are relaxed and chill and everything, and you have time to clear out and then be all in when the storm comes in, I guess.
I feel like as entrepreneurs as well, like you said, then it's like a little toxic where you kind of miss it.
Yeah,
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 no, definitely.
yeah.
So, Santiago, if you wouldn't mind, walk me through your client acquisition process. So, how do you get leads from how you get leads to signing them on?
Yeah, sure. So it's nothing robust. There is nothing uh planned about it, but if I have to describe the process somehow, it would be the conversations, I'm sorry, start whether on LinkedIn or on Slack communities or by referrals, people that I've known, people that I remember, and I send some messages, and that's stage number one. Uh, it's complicated because opening conversations, whether in LinkedIn, in Slack, or referrals, needs creativity, as I said before. So let's say, for example, that I'm in a Slack community and I see someone posting, "Hey, I need a video agency. Do you have any recommendations?" That's easy because what I do is I send a direct message and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here for you. What do you need?" Let's start a conversation. That's great. Sometimes I have the advantage that I know about ad monetization, user acquisition, ads themselves, actually. So I can open conversations from other stuff as well. So let's say that someone posts in a community, "Hey, I'm having troubles with ad monetization. Can you help me out?" So what I do is I offer my help for free. I do not charge, maybe having a call. And then it's it's obvious that it's going to happen. They are going to ask me like, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" Right? Well, I have my own agency. I create label ads. I do video ads. Whether if that person specifically doesn't hire me, they may recommend me to someone else, right? So it's kind of doing favors, networking, getting to know more people. That's the stage one, that it's the most fun, the most creative, the most hard to track, and the most complicated to repeat and to scale. That right, because that's the way that I do it, and I've created my own system in order to generate leads. That's number one. Number two is very easy. Stage number two is very easy because it's just following up the conversations. The hard part is, as we talked before, like keeping track and when to send someone on what time, when to send it. I'm sorry, what to send, how to follow up. But it's pretty obvious on how to do it. I think it's the problem is the system that backs me up, and the third part is just closing the deal and sending everything to operations, which now is great. 6 months ago we were not that great, and they take it from there. So that's kind of the way that we work.
So it's
Very
very organic.
very organic, very organic,
Yeah,
very organic. Yeah,
yeah.
and to be honest, I've been pitched by many B2B lead generation systems, and the problem that I have with that is that it's not that I do not believe in them, is that they all look the same to me. So why am I going to choose someone, uh, being compared to the next one who offers the same stuff? And we do not trust those type of solutions so far. Uh, but I've been this close to to work with a couple of them that I really like the conversations that I have with the sales rep and everything. I don't know. I think the reasons why I haven't delegated that into other companies or outsourcing has been because many things. Not being able to delegate, not being sure if I can be able to take the demand, like the work that may come, not not trusting the way that these companies are going to communicate to these potential clients, because it's not me, it's someone else communicating and using my brand, using my company, and I feel a little bit like I'm not sure, so yeah.
I hear that. I hear that from a lot of people as well that say similar things to you. Uh, how is it just you that works on this right now on the outbound?
Yep, just me, just me.
So if you wanted to scale this up, then you'd have to create more of you, basically. So wouldn't it be just say to hear me out a little bit? I'm just saying, like, wouldn't it be because you're worried about brand voice changing, things like that? But if you could have an AI agent that you train on your brand voice, on the way you speak, and an AI SDR, so sales development rep, that speaks like you, and you train it with, or someone trains it for you, but with all your speak, so it would be very hard to detect whether it was whether it's you or not. Would that be beneficial, would you say?
I would say I would say yes, definitely. I am very skeptical in the way that I think that it's more like a philosophical conversation to have, right? But because I don't think that working has only had to do with results. I also think that it has to do with what happens in the middle between me trying to convince or me trying to open a conversation or exposing myself or generating new conversations. But at the same time, whether I like it or not, if everyone else is using an AI agent, they're going to be 10x faster than me. So it's like market doesn't care what you think or what you believe or how do you feel. Like
Feel,
it's
yeah.
more about exactly the market doesn't care about it. So I would say that yeah, it should be more beneficial. Definitely having an AI agent. Yes, and I think that we're going to end using it. End story is it's going to happen. It's a matter of when and how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, definitely, because just like I have in my instantly that what I used for my cold outreach just to speak to people like yourself. I have an agent that's trained in that, and it's nowhere near as it's just the one that's inside instantly at the moment. They're outside of it. I just don't need that level of intelligence in the agent to do what I do to book the things on. But and that's been a lifesaver for me, because before I was having to reply to emails like for podcast bookings a lot, and I was missing some because sometimes in America, so sometimes I'd get a message at 3 in the morning, things like that, and this is no way on the level of what you would need. You would need obviously a much. This is just like inside instantly that I just quickly. It took me about 20 minutes to train it quickly, and it replies within 4 minutes every time, and it only replies to what I've trained it to reply. Now there's much more there's much more bad ones that we inside my instant because they're not needed at the moment. But so I just wanted to make you aware that there's things that's just like a very small part of what I have in my instantly at the moment. But there's even more. There's so much more AI SDRs that are even way more complex than that, to have them more complex conversations and more nuances and things like that. So I would just wanted to make you aware that
Amazing.
is.
That's
So
very good to know.
Santiago, walk me through your client delivery model from client brief to campaign handoff.
Can you repeat that? Like, the question is, what do we do? Like, what do we cover?
So once you've signed them on, you've signed a client on, okay, and you're about to run, your ads for them. What is the process that happens from when they sign up and they say right, and then what do you do then to where you say right, the campaign is finished, let's run it.
Yeah. So there are many ways to work. The usual is clients share the scripts and what they want, or maybe they share references of, okay, I want this video ad or I want this player ad. And with that, they also share the assets to create the ads. Right. So we take all that, we create a first draft in 2-3 days. We respond back with the draft. They say, I like it, I don't like it. If it's I don't like it, they give like these lines of feedback. Produce again, back and forth. We usually say up to 3 times it's okay. Then it has an extra cost. And then we do the final delivery of the assets and in three different sizes. If it's a player ad, we export. It's the same process. The exports are different, but it's the same process. And we don't get into the campaign. We just deliver the ads, and then the client take the ads and do the user acquisition themselves. We are not into that. We also offer user acquisition, but we don't sell that service out loud due to million reasons. But yes, we do have like 3-4 clients that are doing user acquisition with us, and we also are the creative agencies behind that. We are not ready yet for competing like with other growth agencies out there, because, and this is like very long answers, the reasons why are very internal, and we are not just there yet. Like we think that we need like to focus more on creativity before moving to growth. It's a very competitive landscape, and we want to be really, really, really prepared for giving that battle. It's not easy to do user acquisition. It's not easy.
So they give you they give you the script of what they want to do, and then you basically are the creative behind it to create the playable ad, the video ad, and then you sort of hand it back off to them, and they'll have someone apart from the 4 other clients that you have, but normally you sort of hand it back to them, and then they run it within their own campaign.
Exactly. That's what we do.
And also I feel like with that's going to change so much as well. Like, with the running the ads, that's going to change again. Do you know what I mean? When there's ad agents, AI agents, we're speaking about where they're going to have an agent to be able to run the ad, write the copy for the ad, not what you do. You create the video. That's a totally different thing. But I'm talking about like writing the copy for the ad, performing ones, and scale up the ones that are performing. So I feel like, yeah, I know it blew my mind when we spoke about it a few weeks ago. So different to what you do, but still, when you're talking about maybe one day going into that, I feel like that's even going to change. Do you know what I mean soon?
Of course. And we're preparing for that because we're about to launch our Gen AI kind of framework. What I think, like if you listen to Zuckerberg, I think it was 1 year ago, he said media agencies are going to disappear. You're just going to connect your bank account. You're just going to say, I want this goal for my business, and that's pretty much it. I would say that that's extreme because I don't know if Coca-Cola or McDonald's are going to let Meta create their own logos or voice or tone, or it's very tricky, right? But when it comes to super extra personalization or customization of ads, like each person having an ad experience, I mean, yes, you could eventually get to that, but you're still going to need agencies behind. And I think that what we have to think about is create frameworks. So I won't be hired maybe in 6 months, 1 year, 2, 3. I won't be hired by project like Santi, create 3 video ads for me, create 5 video ads for me, create 2 playable ads. It's gonna be Santi, I'm gonna pay you I'm gonna pay you a subscription model, right? Monthly. You take care of the creative part as you want, attached by performance. So if you do good, that's great. If you don't do good, I'm going to switch and go to another agency. And I think everything's going to be integrated, like the creative, the growth, the KPIs, the data, the measurement. And we, as a creative agency, it's not that we're going to disappear, but we are going to be like more as a whole, given a service with all these parts integrated.
Yeah, you'll adapt. You'll adapt because people are never going to be like, oh, like what Zuckerberg said, we'll just pay you in your bank account. No, they want assurances. They want somebody that they can say, this is what I want. I need you to do it for me.
Of
I need you
course.
to do it for me, and I want to know that I'm speaking to you. I have a relationship with you. You know what I mean? That I can lean on and trust, and I want you to do the thing. Whether it's your jobs might change in the fact of you might not even be creating it yourselves, but you're going to be able to manage the creatives that create it for you. It's never going to be client straight to there always has to be someone to manage and to oversee these types of things.
Of course, and I do understand that publishers and advertisers imagine an ideal world of cutting the middleman, right? And I get it, and I get it because the middlemen many times they get a lot of money by being there, but there are many middlemen and companies and ad tech companies, for instance, that they honestly add value to the chain. They honestly do. I do understand that many other companies they don't, but many they do. For instance, let's say that you globally launch an app and I'm based in Buenos Aires, right? And I have users in Germany, right? And I have a user base of, let's say, 300K. That's amazing. And I have all these ad spaces to sell, but I'm based in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So if I wouldn't have Google, if I wouldn't have Meta, if I wouldn't have Apple Lovin and all these big players out there, I would have to travel to Germany and to knock on each company's door, right? And say, hey, I'm selling all these ad spaces. Would you buy them for me? So let's not criticize the middlemen that hard because they help. And I mean, I wouldn't say help, but I would say, of course, they take their part. It's just a part of the business, and they're doing their part. Their part. They are doing it. They are doing it. So beware, like when you think about cutting the middleman and doing the efforts individually. I tried it out like 3, 4 years ago. We created in this company that I work for. We created like this amazing sales team. There were 20 sales rep selling ad spaces all over Latin America. It was great, but it was really messy. It was really complicated. So that's why, for example, ad networks or media agencies exist. So for me, I'm not completely sure that they are going to disappear at least in 10 or 15 years, as Zuckerberg say. I don't think that it's going to happen. Of course, they will have to adapt. Of course, they will.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course, they will. Yeah.
And that's going to be the key. I really don't think that's going to happen. What he said there, I feel like it's just going to be an adaptation, slight shuffle over, and Yeah, do you know, my fiance is a social media manager, and they were, when AI was, still is now, some people were like, there'll be no need for social media managers. I was like, and she was worried, and I said that the job will change, of course, and you'll be more responsible for looking after, the agents that do these sort of things, and that's where you have to adapt. But they're never just going to be like, do you think a business owner who's, CEO, business founder, do you think he's going to be wanting to check these things that are running in social media?
He's not.
It's not going to happen.
He's going to answer you to how
Yes,
the AI agents are doing. So you are going to still be responsible for it.
and that's what I said to her. I was like, you just have to adapt slightly, and do you know what I mean? You're going to have a workforce around you instead of it being you that look after these. You're going to have sort of these agents that run
Of course.
business for you. But yeah, do you know what I mean? It's just all about.
Yep, definitely.
So Santiago, how do you handle reporting and client updates today?
So so not that much in terms of reporting because as we do not do the performance and we do not run the campaigns most of the time, we don't have to. Client updates is one of the major changes that we've made in our company, and that we figured out that we were weak in it, meaning that at first for us we only communicate when we had drafts to deliver or versions of the ads to deliver, and now it's like we try to catch up with the clients at the minimum every couple of days. Like I wouldn't say every day because the feeling was, hey, maybe we are bothering them or where we are pinging them all the time, and they might feel like these Adsmood guys, they are so annoying, but over communicating. And then we figure out that we have to over communicate. It's better that the right radio silence. So I'll tell you, 95% of the times we work with Slack with our clients. It's a very easy and uh, intuitive way to work, and we just right there and say, "Hey guys, this is status. If we are delays, because delays happen, they're being delayed," and it changed a lot the recurrency of our clients, and it made us it made us build better relationships and partnerships with these companies, with these clients that we have that it hadn't happened before at the beginning of our company. So we don't have like a system, a way, but we have that motto, like over communicating. That's what we aim for.
Definitely, I feel like where you don't run the actual, the performance of the ads, it would probably be a little bit of an overkill to have a designated client workspace, like that they could tap into type of thing. But I feel like if you were to go into that, then that would be super beneficial that they could just log in. Obviously, not from where you're at now, but if you were running more metrics, numbers, and that type of thing, a centralized sort of like a CRM, but just a workspace that they can sort of log into. But where you're at now, I feel like a Slack channel is the same sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like just a slightly lower
Yeah,
down because it's not needed to be a little bit overkill.
and that's one of the main reasons why we are not offering growth and UA so much, because we know like, to be honest, the revenue, the margins are not great when you're running a UA agency. Margins are better when it comes to creativity. That's the honest truth. So you have to put a lot of hours, a lot of people, high seniority, high knowledge, high know-how, and you have to work in things as reporting on data visualization, tools that are expensive. So it costs too much, and we are a very young company. So creative has been a very nice way to build a very good amount of a great base of clients. Like we have more than 40 clients in 1 year, which is amazing. And then we can start building from that. So I think that the plan in the next 6, 9, 12 months is to expand our services, not only on the marketing side, but also on the product side of things, like creating assets for games, or maybe we are not completely sure about it, creating our own games in 2 or 3 years time. Kind of vision that we have. Yeah, I mean, it's a very competitive landscape. The market is, oh, it's full with, with amazing mobile games, with the structure, with machines, with companies that are machines that create maybe 8, 10 different prototypes a week, and they discard games all the time, and then they create new. Is it would be very hard to compete with that. But I also think that as a company, you need a short mid, at least a short mid vision, right, to fulfill your commitment with the company, your purpose, being like, yeah, but I have a plan. I have, like, in the short term, we have our Gen AI launch that's planned for October, so we are very excited about that. So the short term, you have it. We also have to take care of the clients that we have. We have to sell more subscription models. So we are very into that. So that's great. So the short term is it's good. The midterm is like, hey, I think that we are becoming slowly a gaming studio, not only a marketing agency. We're becoming that. So the mid is becoming a gaming studio by creating assets or helping gaming studios create their own games. That's great. And what about the long term? So that's what we are defining nowadays. Like, it's been great. We've created our own company. We live out of it. We have clients. We have revenue. We are on the fly. That's great. What's next? And it's part of having a company. First, you just want the first US dollar, yeah, to come into your bank account, and when you have it, it's great. And then you want more, and it doesn't have to do like with bad ambitions. It has to do with purpose, and it has to do with working. And it has to do with expanding, and it's been great. It's been great. Yeah,
Sounds exciting. It sounds exciting as well. I can see a
yeah, it
smile on
is.
your face when you're talking about it as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's good. It's good.
It's a dream. I mean, I'm working from home. I have my own company, and sometimes when I don't have like the space like this to talk it out loud and express my thoughts, I just give it for granted. And it's not fair. It's not fair to my partners, and it's not fair to me because it has taken a lot of efforts to be right where I am. Having my kid, being able to take care of him while I work and not being in the office away for 10, 12 hours. It's amazing. So I have to take care of it. I also have to envision and to think where I want to be in the next 2, 3 years, even if life has already shown me that you can follow a plan 100%, but it's good to have a north, like more or less, aim somewhere, but have a north. I think that right now we are missing that, but we are already having conversations because we know that we need it. We need it.
You something to aim at. If you haven't got anything to aim at, then you're definitely going to miss. Whereas if you aim for your north star, you might miss, but you're going to hit the stars maybe, or hit something
It's
underneath
gonna
it. Do you
be
know what I mean? There or
exactly.
thereabouts. Do you know what I mean? Is a lot more closer than if you didn't have it at all.
I mean, when you create maybe you create a piano and you say, "Hey, I want to win 50," and then you end up winning 30. But if you aim for 30, maybe you were ending up winning 18 or 20, right? So aim high, and then you'll see.
Last question about AI. Most companies dabble in AI tools here and there. A few embed them into their core workflows as a nervous system. Where would you see your company more dabbling or fully embedded? And I'm talking more about for you specifically, more not of like the creative, but like in the back end, in the manual task, the processes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. I think that I'm gonna answer this way, and let me know if it's okay. But I think that we haven't fully embraced AI yet when it comes to the background. Um, when it comes to invoicing, when it comes to the P&L, when it comes to sales, when it comes to creativity, yes, we have fully embraced it, but not so far. And I think that at least what it happens to me is that I do not trust it 100%. That's what's happening to me. Like, I do not trust an agent to do so. Maybe if I hire a company, and what we talked before, like if I can talk to someone, and that someone is responsible for dealing with the AI agents and whatever, I would be like, hey, maybe I trust this. But me myself creating some sort of, these AI chain agents with
Yeah.
N8N and
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
AI tools. You see those. Oh, I lost you.